to the Fourth and Long Fantasy Football Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Fourth and Long Fantasy Football Show. My name is Justin. Episode 50 today. We've hit the half-century mark, guys. Thank you for all the support. Week 1 is in the books. What a week it was. Today's episode, I'll give you a few of my Week 1 reactions, go over my waiver wire targets for Week 2, and my starts of the week. Now, as a reminder, guys, I'll be releasing my weekly episodes throughout the season on Thursday mornings, get you prepared with my weekly recaps, waiver wire ads, and starts of the week. Your time is valuable, so let's get to it.
On today's show...
Alright, so for today's show, I'll start by giving you a couple quick reactions to Week 1. The first is, don't overreact, guys. There were some serious bust performances in Week 1 from guys that you'd normally expect to be an anchor for your squad. Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, Davante Adams, Allen Robinson, Aaron Jones, Zeke Elliott, Najee Harris, Josh Allen. Gotta come up for a breath there. The list goes on and on. Now, the data's there, though, to support some serious regression back to the mean in future weeks. You look at Zeke Elliott, played 75% of the snaps. Stephon Diggs still got 14 targets. Najee Harris played 100% of the snaps. Don't lose sight of how long this season truly is. These guys are studs, and the law of averages will work itself out. Don't go selling them for 50 cents on the dollar. Hold. Next, Joe Mixon is an RB1, guys. All offseason, the Bengals coaching staff talked about how they didn't want Joe Mixon to leave the field. Well, that came true in Week 1. Mixon saw 80% of the snaps and saw an insane 33 touches. The film looked good. Fire up Joe Mixon as a surefire running back 1 the rest of the season. And then finally, the Rams offense. I talked a little bit about how excited I was to watch the Rams offense in Week 1, and they did not disappoint. Matthew Stafford looked sharp in his first start as a Ram, hitting deep touchdown throws to Van Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. Running back Darrell Henderson is obviously the clear lead back to have in LA. He saw an absurd 94% of the backfield opportunities, and we'll see how this develops as Sonny Michel gets up to speed. And then tight end Tyler Higbee played every single offensive snap. We talked about the impact of Gerald Everett leaving for Seattle and the impact it would have on Tyler Higbee. He's a rock-solid tight end 1 until further notice. I'm buying Rams players wherever I can. All right, let's now get into my waiver wire ads for the week for Week 2. I'm going to start out with a pretty popular name here. It's going to be a running back, and it's going to be 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell. This 49ers backfield is interesting, right? Probably one of the most surprising inactives of Sunday was rookie running back Trey Sermon being a healthy scratch. Interesting, seeing as we thought that Trey Sermon was the clear backup to Raheem Mostert. That was not the case in Week 1. Shanahan came out and said he felt Sermon was behind the other backs. What? Interesting. So as a result, we all fired up Raheem Mostert, thinking we'd get solid return in Week 1, but then in typical Mostert fashion, he gets hurt. He's now on IR with an 8-week recovery timeline due to a knee cartilage injury, and he actually just came out today and said that he's going to be missing the entire season to undergo surgery to come back fully healthy for the 2022 season. Enter Elijah Mitchell. You probably hear hesitancy in my voice, guys, and it would not surprise me one bit if Shanahan brought Sermon into the fold in Week 2, and he plays a big role. Can't forget as well that Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be coming off IR in a couple weeks, and he may have a big role when he's eventually available. Ultimately, though, the 49ers run game is elite, and if I can get a potential piece of that run game, I want it. Go grab Mitchell. The next player on my waiver wire ads for Week 2 is going to be another running back, and I'm going to go with Philadelphia Eagles rookie running back Kenneth Gainwell. Now, yes, Miles Sanders is the running back to own in Philly, but Gainwell looked good in Week 1. The Eagles used him in their hurry-up offense, and Gainwell responded with a touchdown and could have actually had 2 if his second wasn't called back due to a penalty. It's clear that Gainwell has supplanted Boston Scott as the clear change of pace number 2 back in this Philly offense. And we have to remember, guys, that head coach Nick Sirianni comes from a coaching tree that's historically used 2 backs, and Gainwell is a second back in this offense. On top of that, you're talking about a starter in Miles Sanders who has struggled with injuries in years past. Now, Gainwell's definitely more of a PPR ad over standard scoring. I think we see a Nyheim Hines sort of season from the explosive rookie. The third and final guy on my waiver wire ad list for Week 2 is going to be a wide receiver, and it's going to be Denver Broncos wide receiver Tim Patrick. Now, I'm adding Tim Patrick to this list because of the injury news to Jerry Jeudy. High ankle sprain is going to keep Jeudy off the field for the next number of weeks, and Tim Patrick is now stepping into the number 2 wide receiver role in Denver. The 6'4 wideout performed well in 2020, and I think we see similar production in 2021 with Jeudy on the shelf for the next number of weeks. Now, it may not always be pretty, but high ankle sprains can linger, so we'll see what happens with Jerry Jeudy when he does eventually come back. I'm comfortable adding Tim Patrick as a wide receiver 3 or flex option for the next few weeks, and this week he gets the Jags defense, which should be fun for owners who are starting Patrick. All right, now let me wrap up the show here today with my starts of the week. First, let me go back and reflect on last week. I had quarterback Tom Brady, running back James Robinson, and wide receiver Calvin Ridley. Definitely hit the mark on Tom Brady. James Robinson and Calvin Ridley did not perform as I expected them. Let's see if I can redeem myself in week 2. So I'm going to start my list off for week 2 with a quarterback, and I'm going to go with Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. Herbert held his own in week 1. He made some real tough throws in high-pressure situations against a pretty stout Washington football team defense. Week 2 brings a home tilt against the Dallas Cowboys defense, who were just shredded to pieces by Tom Brady in week 1. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, and Jared Cook. I like investing in quarterbacks who have good skill players, and Herbert has one of the best collections of skill players in the NFL. I'm going to start Herbert with confidence in week 2. My next start of the week is going to be a running back, and I'm going to go with Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb picked right back up where he left off last season in week 1 with 2 rushing touchdowns against the Chiefs. This week, Nick Chubb gets the Houston Texans defense. Now, guys, don't be fooled by the Texans' week 1 win over the Jags. The Texans are a bad team. It just so happens the Jags may be just as bad as them. Now, I expect the Browns to really dominate this game on the defensive side of the ball. I think Nick Chubb will be the main beneficiary. He should see his 18 to 20 touch workload with another double-digit touchdown game potentially in the fold. And then my last start of the week is going to be a wide receiver, and I'm going to go with Green Bay Packers wide receiver Davante Adams. After an absolutely dreadful opening week for the Packers, I think they get back on track against the Detroit Lions in week 2. I honestly could have put Packers here for all my starts of the week. That's how confident I am they're going to have a big week 2. I'm expecting a serious rebound performance for Aaron Rodgers, and Davante Adams is going to be the main beneficiary of that rebound. Rodgers should come out firing, and Adams is going to be his number 1 look. I fully expect 100 yards and possibly 2 touchdowns against the Lions defense, who actually just lost their first-round quarterback from last year in week 1. Davante Adams owners who were patient in week 1 will be rewarded in week 2. So that'll do it, guys. Please remember to comment and like on this video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. This has been the 4th and Long Fantasy Football Show. Good luck in week 2, everybody. See you next week.
Royalty-free music courtesy of Ben Sound. The views and opinions expressed on today's episode are that of the 4th and Long Fantasy Football Show. Remember to like and subscribe.